All right, ladies and gentlemen, I picked out 4 problems to practice for multiplying and dividing fractions. I'm hoping this will help you if you have any questions. And if you do have any questions, please bring them back to me on Wednesday. I'll be happy to help you with any of those questions. First problem is negative 3/5 times negative 2/9. We know it's multiplication because it's a number next to parentheses. I drew Madman already. Remember, Madman works whenever we multiply or divide integers, or multiply or divide positives and negatives. Multiplying fractions, that's no problem. Take the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. Multiplying fractions, that's no problem. Take the top times the top, bottom times the bottom. So for this example, all I'm going to do is multiply 3 times 2, 5 times 9. Remember, we do not need a common denominator. To multiply fractions, you just multiply top times the top, bottom times the bottom. So I got 6 over 45. And I know that a negative times a negative will equal a positive. So I got 6 over 45. I know that I need to reduce this. Divide by 3, divide by 3, and I will have 2 over 15. There's my answer. Up next, we have negative 4 2/3 times 1 3/7. We have a positive times a negative, so my answer is going to be negative. I know it's going to equal a negative something. We talked about in class today that we cannot multiply with mixed numbers. We need to change this into improper fractions. To do that, I'm going to use the Texas method. We talked about this. 3 times 4 plus 2. Texas method is changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14 thirds, that's negative, times 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10 sevenths. Multiply the top times the top, bottom times the bottom, and work it out. So 14 times 10 is going to be 140. 3 times 7 is 21. I know that I can reduce this by 7 because 14 divided by 7 and 21 divided by 7 works. I'm going to go down here. 14 divided by 7 is 20, or negative 20. 21 divided by 7 is 3. I can't reduce it anymore, but I can't leave the bigger number on top, so I use good old-fashioned horse and cowboy. 20 is my cowboy. 3 is the horse. 3 goes into 20 6 times, which is 18. 2 left over. The 2 becomes my numerator. Denominator stays the same. So my final answer is negative 6 and 2/3. Pause the video now if you are unsure of any one of those steps and go back and work it out for yourself. Up next, we have 3 2/5 divided by 1/2. We're dividing fractions. We do not need to find a common denominator, but we do need to get rid of any mixed numbers. We can only work with improper fractions. So once again, I need to do the Texas method, Texas math. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 17 fifths divided by 1/2. Notice how I don't have Madman here because I got 2 positive numbers. 2 positive numbers are obviously going to be positive result. Dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second number and multiply. Once again, in case you didn't get that, dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second number and multiply. Pretty much you need to remember to flip the number you are dividing by. So if I read this problem, 17 fifths divided by 1/2. Divided by is my hint to flip the second number. So this is the number that I want to flip. I want to change. So now I'm going to change this to be 17 fifths times 2 over 1. Now, dividing fractions, that's no problem. Take the top times the top, bottom times the bottom. I got 34 over 5. Which, horse and cowboy, can't leave the bigger number on top. 5 goes into 34. 6 whole times. 30 left over. 4 in the numerator. Denominator stays the same. Final answer, 6 and 4 fifths. Okay. Which means, what does that mean? That means that 1/2 can go into 3 2/5, 6 whole times, and 4 fifths. So almost 7 times that 1/2 goes into 3 2/5. Last problem here I'm going to do. So if you have any questions, make sure you write them down and come back with them to discuss with me on Wednesday. -3 and 5/6 divided by 2 and 5/7. It's a negative divided by a negative, so that means my answer is going to be positive according to Madman. We have 3 and 5/6, 2 and 5/7. We have to use the Texas math. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 is 23 over 6, divided by 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19 over 7. Yikes, what was Mr. Out thinking with these numbers? 23 divided by 6, 23 over 6 divided by 19/7. Dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second number and multiply. So I need to flip this number around. So I got 23/6 times 7 over 19. I know 6 times 20 is 120. So I'm going to subtract 6 from that, and I'm going to get 114. I know if I have 7 quarters, 7 times 25 is going to be 175. So I'm going to subtract 2 sevens from that, which is 14. 175 minus 14 is going to be 161. If you are unsure in that math I did in my head, you can do it off to the side on your own. But I used common place values that I knew. All right, I don't see anything I can reduce by right now. So I'm going to put 114 on the outside, 161 on the inside. 114 goes in 161 one time. Jeez, Mr. Elk gave some crazy numbers. So this is going to become 11. That becomes a 5. 11 minus 4 is 7. 5 minus 1 is 4. So my final answer, we said, is going to be positive. My final answer is going to be 1 and 47 over 114. No, you cannot reduce that because 47 is a prime number. So what that means is that 2 and 5/7 goes into 3 and 5/6, 1 and 47 out of 114 times. I hope this helps you guys with your multiplying and dividing fractions. Any questions for me, please bring them back on Wednesday. You guys have a great day. Bye.